story, and I don't think a lot of people know about it. You encountered Mark David Chapman, the man who assassinated John Lennon. And to me, this is one of the saddest moments in our history. I think John Lennon was so brilliant, such a force, and you only wonder if had he lived, what would have, what else would have come out of him.
Exactly. You can only imagine what, he was so young. I don't know, how old was John Lennon when he died?
40? 40, I think. I mean, ridiculous.
Like Elvis, I mean, I got started at 40, I imagine what he would have come out with in his 50s and 60s.
Fabulous, definitely. Fantastic.
Nice to have something for free in this country at the moment, isn't it?
Is it their new record? Oh, great. I'm all in favour of it.
But James, the freaky story is, you were living, I guess, were you living in the same building as John was at that point?
I lived in the next building up on Central Park West, a rental apartment in a building called the Langham, which was at 173, I think, and John lived in the Dakota right next door. So
right, and you were walking down the street, I guess, and Mark David Chapman, this maniac, he approached you on the street.
No, I was actually coming out of the subway at 72nd Street.
Right.
And he had been either on the platform or on the train with me, I can't remember. And as we were
he recognized you.
And as we were walking out, he was you could tell he was agitated. He sort of had he was sweating. He was
disheveled.
He'd clearly been up for a while. His eyes were dilated. He was really a sort of it definitely creeped me out. I got the vibe from him that this is someone you don't want to spend that much time with. And he was talking, basically sort of talking freak spew, we used to call it, just babbling, rambling on about how he's going to do this and who he knew this person and he couldn't wait to see this person and I'm hoping to do this with that, and I sort of walked up the stairs to Central Park West and 72nd Street, and I said, "Okay, man, I got to go now. Bye-bye." Scraped him off.
Did he say anything about John Lennon?
In his sort of rambling babble that he gave me, he may have mentioned John, that he was hoping to get something to John or something like that.
Oy.
But the next evening, I was talking to Peter Asher's wife on the phone, and she was saying, I think it was at the time of the Manson trials or some kind of reiteration of the Manson thing.
For being the father of this country. And all the things I did without breaking the law. Maybe I haven't done enough. I might be ashamed of that, for not doing enough.
As you get a lot of mail from people who want to follow you still.
Follow me? Did you have any choice? You'll all follow me. You know, you got these people over here that want to live. You want to live? Get in line, we'll live. You don't want to live? Hurry up. You know, the gate's open. You know, do your thing, man. Here, give them some Coke. All Charlie's friends get free Coke.
I made sandwich. That's my favorite.
Oh my God. This is good shit.
I know. I laced it with blow.
Fuck.
So it knocks you out and it keeps you going at the same time.
You like weed so much, why don't you just legalize it?
Are you fucking kidding me? You know how pissed off my dad would get if I did
What did you do?
I do the best thing I know how. Nothing. I play music and I smoke a little grass now and then because it helps me and I like to relax with it. That's about it. I've never killed anyone. I don't need to kill anyone. I think it. I have it here. I don't need to live in this physical realm. I walk around in the physical realm, and I put on the faces, and I talk, and I play, and it's this big act, man. In the spiritual world is where I live. I exist in places you never even dreamed of. I'm just another guy walking down the road going, how many times I got to go to the where's God at? See, I've got a face, my face, what is it?
Have they seen him dance?
Well,
Because they might want to rethink.
oh, that's not good. Maybe he'll play with the band.
He cracks me up when he's dancing, and he's done it so many times in public. He obviously trying to fit in.
I'm an old man. All I want to do is retire. Get on the desert and be left alone. I don't want to rob nobody. I'm hiding out underneath the rock. They come to me and say, hey, Charlie, hi. I said, what do you want? So you want to talk? I said, about what? Not my vocabulary. That's not my generation. I keep telling you that. My generation.
Leslie said, in the car on the way to the La Bianca house, you said, this time, make sure they're not scared like last night.
Cold-blooded killers, the likes of which we hadn't seen in a long period of time.
So where are we? I mean, if 9/11 is here as the starting point, where are we now?
We are safer. It's where we are, but we're not yet safe. One way for your viewers to understand this is that the enemy has to be right once. We have to be right 100% of the time to protect us against people who are willing to kill in a variety of ways. In a sense, he is right for the short term. In the long term, we have got to defeat an ideology of hate with an ideology of hope. And that's why I've called it an ideological struggle. In other words, there is a reason why these people like bin Laden are able to recruit suiciders. Because they prey upon resentment and hatred. And I believe systems of government create resentment and hate. In other words, if you don't have hope.
Yeah. I remember something like that, but I don't remember exactly the right words. But that's a simple philosophy from China.
It says it's okay to go kill somebody, including yourself. But one of the things that's very important, Matt, is that the American people go on living their lives and not let the threat of terror, the threat of these extremists, cause us not to, do what's necessary to keep the economy growing, or cause us not to do what's necessary to make sure you love your children a lot and take them out and enjoy life.
But if I
just spend a lot of time thinking about it,
and
so do a lot of other people.
On a personal basis, how do you carry that weight? How do you go to sleep at night, knowing what you know?
First, I trust in Almighty God.
That's a Chinese philosophy. If you're gonna go to war and you're fighting your enemy, and you kill him when he's afraid, it's a bad omen. It's bad. So you try to absorb the fear with, I think the Hindus use that word, karma. It's a balance of karma.
Years later, and they still have no idea what you're about.
And secondly, I trust the people around me to do their jobs to protect attack. This could have been, another highly organized attack on the country. And it still may be. Again, I don't know the facts, but I do know that...
Tell me in a sentence who you are.
I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight racer if you get too close to me.
I was just sitting by an open window on the 6th floor of this building, and opposite was a sort of ventilation arch that comes through the courtyard of the Dakota and is blocked off to about the 2nd floor from the street level. But then there's this sort of arch that gives communication from the interior court of the Dakota. And I hear out on the street, I hear 5 shots ring out. And it was just...
right through your window, you hear it.
And I said, I think the cops have just shot someone down on the street. You think it's crazy out there? I said, she said, how do you know it's the cops? I said, well, it was 5 in a row. They emptied the gun, one under the hammer and then emptied the gun. And I've been told that's how it goes down, and it sounds like a 38 to me. I said, I think they just killed someone down on the street. She said, wow, that's wild. I said, I gotta go. And she rung off, and 20 minutes later she called me back and said that was John Lennon.
John Lennon.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Did you, like you said, you mentioned you went on the subway back then and all that. Did it make you rethink New York and your own safety? Did you ever, because I'm shocked you were even on the subway, but you were able to travel around and people don't bother you, but all of a sudden, doesn't that put thoughts in your head?
A little bit, but generally speaking, I think that, and John said it himself, they were so popular that I think it becomes sort of statistically probable that you're going to fit into some crazy fantasy, you know?
Right.
And I just never, I've been low enough on the radar so that I'm not tabloid material. I'm not, I'm still able to sort of
travel around and
live a life as a working musician, and that's how I think of myself. And amazing.
Yeah.
And he and I actually had I ran into him a couple of times on the street, like going home from the studio. He'd be out cruising the city at night. He used to do that.
Yeah.
And
he was a character, right?
He was an amazing guy.
Just like I would tell you, if you're going to do something, do it well. And leave something with you. Leave a sign to let the world know that you were there. Have a good day.